back to my channel. My name is Kendra and I'm a PA. I always don't know what to say after that. Today we're going to be talking about my first job as a PA right after graduating from PA school. So let's just dive right in, and I'm going to talk about my experience in my first job. I will tell you how I found the job, what my salary was, what my schedule was, and all that good stuff that I'm sure you want to know about. So first of all, I found out about this job before I even took my boards, which is called the PANCE. And basically the job listing was given to me or shown to me by my school. So they sent out an email for this job listing for a hospitalist job in infectious disease. And so funny, you know, I would never see myself working in infectious disease, but when you want to get out of your house, your parents' house, and move out and start a living doing PA things, you kind of just, you know, make some sacrifices in the beginning in order to get to where you want to be in the long run. So obviously I can't say that infectious disease is my first love or really a love at all, but you know, it was a hospitalist job, which I was really interested in, because if I am going to work in an office, I don't want to be stuck in an office all day doing something that I'm not super passionate about. So the fact that it was a hospitalist job and I got to go to multiple locations in a day made it a little bit more manageable for me. So I didn't really mind too much. I did go and I interviewed for the job. I had, I think, maybe two interviews where I met with the doctor first, and then I met with the staff afterwards. I actually had 3, and then at the time we had another PA and I also met with her. So then after all those interviews, I obviously asked to shadow, like I mentioned in my last video about applying to PA jobs. So I shadowed them because I really had no idea what working in infectious disease would be like, let alone being a hospitalist, because I wasn't really exposed to that kind of job or work environment during school. So during school it was more office-based, and sometimes I would do rounding, but very minimal, so I didn't really know what to expect. So after I had shadowed for a day, I decided to take the job because I enjoyed the freedom of walking around and going to different locations and no one really telling me exactly what I have to do at what time, or, you know, how long I have to spend where. So that to me was worth it, and I took the job. Before we get into the good stuff, the salary, I'm gonna tell you what I did as an infectious disease PA. So with infectious disease and a lot of other fields, the information that you learn tends to become repetitive. So you learn it and then you just remember it, and it's pretty much the same thing over and over again until you have some outliers here and there with things that you don't really know yet or you're going to learn. So the material itself was not hard. I essentially started and stopped antibiotics, to be real. That's all I did. I mean, I ordered tests. I'm so sorry, my phone keeps going off. That's so rude of me. I did run tests, so I would get like, I don't know that I ordered CT scans, but I would order chest x-rays, you know, to check if the pneumonia was gone. I would order blood cultures. I would order them a lot, really. What else? If they had a MRSA infection of the blood, I had to order an echocardiogram because those were most likely to turn into myocarditis. So endocarditis. So I do still remember some stuff from that job, and you know, it was good until I got bored. So a typical day for me looked like starting around 8 o'clock in the morning, I would get to my first hospital. I was on staff at 4 different hospitals and like a gazillion nursing homes. So from my first job, I learned so many things about what I don't like doing. So one of them being that I never want to work in a nursing home ever again, and that I will never put my parents in a nursing home ever, because they're just not nice, you know. It's like, ugh. So yeah, so I would start around 8 o'clock in the morning. and I would get my census for the day. I would go to a computer, print out my list, see who the patients are that I had that day, see which ones were new consultations, and then which ones were follow-ups. Obviously, I just followed up on patients that I had already been following, and then new consultations, I would go and I would do the consultation. My census for a hospital ranged from anywhere from like 1 or 2 in a hospital to like 12 in one hospital. So it was pretty busy, but I got pretty quick because, you know, again, it's the same thing over and over again. So really what slows you down is just making sure the patient's in the room when you want to go see them, and also dictating, which I learned that I can talk like an auctioneer apparently. So I used to like dictate my notes, and I would like be done and people are like sitting next to me and they'd be like, you can be like an auctioneer for a living. I'm like, ah, cool. So after I would be done rounding all of the hospitals, I would go to the nursing homes and round there as well, and essentially do the same thing. Just nursing homes are really unorganized. They smell, and everything is paper charts, so you get a hand cramp at the end of the day after writing all your notes. So it just really wasn't something that I was into, but we did end up getting another PA later on when I was working, and at one point I was getting off at like 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock every day, because she would do like a little bit of the hospitals and then she would go to the office, and I would finish out the hospitals and then go to some of the nursing homes because she was expected to go to the rest of them. So I would be done by like 1 or 2 o'clock, living my best life, and it was really nice for a time, but then, you know, I really just got over it. I think if I could go back and with that time that I had, maybe, you know, find a part-time job, but I don't know also if I had like a non-compete in my contract to where I wouldn't be able to work for somebody else at the same time. But I had a lot of time on my hands. You know, I would go work out, it was great, but I was just not coming home happy or feeling fulfilled anymore because I got bored. So yeah, that's what I did. I did work every other weekend to start because we had a PA when I first started, so I was working every third weekend as my rotation, but then she ended up having to move to Alabama, and then it was just me and my doctor, so we were alternating weekends. So I worked every other weekend for a very, very long time. It was not something that I enjoyed doing, especially since you have to work the whole entire week plus Saturday, Sunday, and then you work again. So I would work 12 days in a row and then have 2 days off, which is not fun. So I told myself in that job that I would never do that again. I'd never work every other weekend again. So, but I did end up doing it again. So as far as my work-life balance and like traveling and stuff, I think I traveled a decent amount during my first year as a PA. I can't really remember too much because that was like 3 years ago, so I don't really remember. But it was a pretty good work balance aside from having to work every other weekend, which I will only do if it's really worth my time now. So aside from rounding, I would also have to not necessarily do wound care, but I would have to look at wounds because I'm treating the infection, right? So I would see like gangrene feet and gangrene other locations, if you know what I mean. I would have to unwrap it, look at it, gross. Not my favorite, but really that was the most hands-on that I had in the job. Other than that, I didn't really touch many people. I listened to their lungs and that was about it. Everything else was just me dictating or talking to them. And for me, that's not enough. I'm a very hands-on person. Your first job as a PA might not always be your dream job, but just remember that it is a door opener to something else. When I was working my infectious disease job, that's how I met the next doctor that I was going to work for, which was my previous job. All right, let's get into the fun part. Salary. All right, so my salary. I don't talk about salary anymore on YouTube or on emails. I don't answer those anymore. Well, I do answer them, but I answer them very generically now. I don't tell people how much I made or how much I'm currently making, mostly because right now I'm like independent and it's very complicated how much I make. But in retrospect, I will tell you how much I make because I hope to help other people realize their worth and figure out, you know, what salary would be best for them. So for me, my starting salary or my base salary was $80,000. And for a new grad, that's pretty standard, I would say. It's pretty normal, but I also had a bonus based on productivity. So say I had to see 20 patients, let's say 20, I don't know how much it really was, but let's say I had to see 20 patients in a day, and then any other patient after that was an extra however much money. So it was nice for me because I could quantify, you know, how many people I needed to see to get a certain amount of money. So that was nice. So when I was working as the only PA for the practice, I made $95,000 after bonuses. So I made a good amount of money, but I also worked my ass off. So I was seeing probably over 40 people in a day, and it was just a lot because I want that money. As far as a raise, I don't think I stayed long enough to even have been considered for a raise. I guess you would imagine after a year you would want to ask for a raise, or even like 6-month evaluation, but I stayed for a little bit over a year, so like a year and a few months, and then I ended up leaving. So who knows if I would have got a raise or not. I had to decide if the money was worth me working so much and seeing so many people and working every other week, and also doing something that I wasn't super into. So obviously when I met the other doctor, I decided it wasn't enough and that I wanted to do something else. And you know, I had been trying to get into either surgery or aesthetics since I graduated, and this was like half the door. I was able to get into surgery and do cosmetics at this next place, so it was just a no-brainer for me to leave my job. But I mean, like, with all that being said, I really enjoyed my first job in the beginning until I got tired of it. I loved the doctor that I work with. He was so sweet. He was the best. We never had any issues or anything like that. We always got along really well, so I thank him for all the knowledge that he gave me, and I don't regret working for him, so that's good. What I will say is that I am happy that I went into a field that had to do more with medicine rather than going straight into, let's say, aesthetics at first, because at least I got to keep the knowledge that I had from PA school and have the medical experience, at least for a little bit. So that part to me was really worth it. And other than that, I am glad I've moved on, obviously. So yeah, that's it for today. A really short video. I just wanted to share my experience with you in my first job. I don't know if you guys want me to continue vlogging. If you do, I'm gonna do like more here and there vlogs. I did update, just get a new job. I finally signed a contract, and I'm super excited about it. So if you guys want me to vlog about that, I totally can. I don't start until like the first week of June, but we do have a few things going on before then, so I can make it like an extended vlog or something like that. But let me know what you guys want to see below, and I'll see you next time.